human dignity denying psychopathology of the intelligence agencies. Also, 70% of all the victims are women. And I will say that again, 70% of all the victims who come forward and claim to be victims of the intelligence agencies, claim to be assaulted with microwave weapons or be gang-stalked, Stasi or COINTELPRO style, are women. And what these poor women are told in large numbers, I think virtually all of them, is that, oh, this is schizophrenia, this is paranoia. Well, I have got news for you, gentlemen, because the intelligence agencies have assaulted so many people now that we have essentially large data sets, statistically significant data sets with ease. And they all show the same, 70% are women. And schizophrenia and paranoia, the sex ratio is actually such that it's predominantly men. So for schizophrenia and paranoia, you can look up the scientific papers. It's about 60% men. I think 58% was the number I found. That was actually pooling numbers from several studies. 58% was men, whereas those who claim to be assaulted by the intelligence agencies are 70% women. So schizophrenia and paranoia as an explanation is out. This is now, out forever. Also in 2009, the whistleblower Carl Clark, an ex-MI6 agent, went public and said, yes, the intelligence agencies are brutally assaulting unsuspecting innocent civilians with microwave weapons. They irradiate them. They also experiment with other frequencies, radio frequencies that interfere essentially with the brain and can have horrific consequences to the victims. It is also now technically feasible, and I found leaked documents about that, leaked government documents, that there's a large-scale program underway to try to have the human brain decoded and interfered with remotely with electromagnetic waves. And essentially what is being done is that brain signals can be read out with the technology that we have now that is measuring electromagnetic fields and changes in field strength to a very high sensitivity. So you can read out humans' brain print remotely and essentially steer human beings. So for those who are technically versed, this is done, I believe, by Fourier transforming the signal, and then a computer decodes it and then maps it out and maps it to different emotional states, to different actions, to different limb controls, movements. And then this is fed back, the signal is sent back to the brain at such a high intensity that essentially the field generates a current inside the head, an electrical signal inside the head. And you can, with that, remote control human beings. You can steer their emotions, you can steer their limbs, you can sometimes even force them, it's called forced speech, to say things that they do not want to say. You can control a human being neurologically in its totality. And I have evidence for that. And as I said, whistleblowers from DARPA, so the Weapons Research Institute in the US, have come forward and confirmed that. So now there's overwhelming evidence that essentially civilians are being microwaved in their own home brutally. And this is true. This has been confirmed already 7 years ago by their own whistleblower, Carl Clark. He also said it's being done in many European countries. He also described how blood samples are stolen, and these victims' medical records are essentially used, and these weapons are being essentially tested on them, And I am one of those, dear colleagues, I'm one of those, and I try to get through to people. I have received the usual put-downs that victims receive over and over, but since then also a lot of people have seen sense. I've shown them the evidence, they have changed their mind, and I'm now appealing to absolutely everybody, because what has happened is that I worked flat out. I have been assaulted non-stop every night, every day, every hour since January 2016, overtly, before I was actually irradiated covertly, as I discovered afterwards. But now my health is failing. And I have gone public earlier this week on the Richie Allen show. You can find my interview with Richie Allen, where I came out and I said, yes, I am being assaulted. I'm one of these victims of the intelligence agencies. And since then, I am being brutally assaulted. There's essentially non-stop radiation, so imagine electromagnetic pulses being essentially shot into your brain. Microwave pulses that gradually microwave your brain, fry your brain, but most importantly destroy the neurological connections, the pathways. It's very hard to see it on an MRI, the gradual neurological damage that is happening and that is being done to human